Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chant A Psalm A, live from Mound, Texas. Hi, everybody. Mwah. This is the day that the righteousness of the Most High has made. Let us rejoice in this day. I am thankful that I am able to give thanks today on this beautiful Sunday, the 29th of September. As we are closing September and going into October, we look at the book of Zechariah. And then I want to look at our word today and our verse today. And let's start with that. I had to screenshot the verse today because it is beautiful and it's truth. So let's get to the psalm. Chant A Psalm A. Here we go. So the verse of the day is coming from John chapter 3, verse 20 to 21. It is about 7:37 here in Texas. I don't know. Someone's calling me from California. I don't know who that could be. It is. I'm thankful for this day. So let's look at the verse today. As I said, it's coming from John chapter 3, verse 20 to 21. So it begins, John 3, 20 to 21. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed. Okay? Now, remember, you are the light. You are the light. And when you know you're the light, you move differently. You deal with people differently. You grow and elevate differently. And people are going to hate. They're going to hate. They're going to discriminate. They're going to be homophobic. People are going to hate. So, and there is evil out there, okay? People who manipulate and control and abuse are evil people. And abuse can come in many forms, not just physical, but it can also be intellectual abuse, where the person is making you feel like you need them to be smart. It can come in that intellectual abuse, where it is controlling and manipulating. It's even to the point where you're in a relationship with your warden. You know, a warden is in charge of the prisoners. And people who are in those kinds of relationships are going to either, sneak around and lie and lie and lie so they don't get the person upset because they are walking around on pins and needles. So everyone out there who does wrongness or errs on the side of wrongness does not love the light and will not come into the light because they're afraid that their wrongness will be exposed. Okay, haven't you had that happen where someone did you wrong and they don't want to see you? They cannot look at you in your face? That's what I'm talking about. Because you are light And when anyone comes into your space that's not light, they're going to be exposed. You're going to expose them, and then what happens is you're attacked. You're attacked. So whoever lives by the truth comes into the light. So you ask the question, what is the light? How am I the light? You are the light by your truth. That's how you are the light. You are the light when you live by that truth, so that that truth may be seen plainly, that what folks have done wrong have been done in the sight of righteousness. Okay? Selah and Selah again. So everyone out there who is jealous, who is insecure, who is controlling of their person or relationship, who is manipulative and toxic, does not love the light and will not come into the light for fear that their wrongness will be exposed. So that's why people don't tell the truth, okay? Because they don't want to be exposed. They don't want it to be exposed. It's better for them to stay in a place of untruth and dishonesty because it doesn't require work. Someone told me the other day that forgiveness is uncomfortable. In order to forgive, you have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to put aside your own self to forgive. I had to do that. I had to forgive someone this summer. And once I did that, it was a release. It was just a complete, I felt this weight off of me. Like literally, I was like, who's touching? Who is that? So we have to remember it's important to feel what we feel, both negative and positive, but we have to not live in that place of negative. We can't live in that place of hate, discriminate. We can't live in that place, okay? We have to live in the place of positivity, okay? So we are vessels for that light. We are vessels for that light. So I love John 3:20-21 because it speaks to a lot of what's going on in the world today with people being hateful and unkind. It speaks to that. So it's important to remember who you are and remember that that light is that truth, okay? That truth. So I wanted to go to the word today, and let's see. What is the word today? Okay, this is not happening. So our word today, so what do you feel about that? Do you feel you're a light? Greetings of love and joy with great gratitude for the Most High daily, Elsu. You are so amazing to be part of this. I love it. I'm looking for the word today here. Okay, here we go. Hmm. Okay, here we go. I got to sign into my work email to find the word of the day. Okay, here it is. So the word of the day is comforted. I was comforted. I was comforted. I am in Flower Mound, Texas, actually, with one of my classmates from my PhD program, and she's amazing. She helped me to get my belongings from where they were, and we packed it up in her Mercedes, and packed it up in there, and I only have one more thing I need to get. That's my bike. But that was a kindness that was shown to me. And it's the faith that I have that I'm going to be okay. I have a daughter. She's 24, 20 something. She's going to be 25. But she worries. She worries about me if I'm going to be okay. And people do, they're concerned. However, I always sent angels to give me that comfort as the word of the day is echoing today. So, comforted. I am comforted by the divine presence within me. So, in other words, that divine presence that is you is that light that John 3:20-21 is talking about. You are that divine, you're a divine being, and you're comforted by that divine presence that is within you. So, being in your alone place, finding yourself alone is not depressive or a despair. It is comforting you for you to be able to feel that comfort, and that light shines because of that now. So we see that being alone is being all one with that light. So when people jump from relationship to relationship and they never get a chance to be alone, that happened to me. I was alone for 3 years and I just was giving myself that. And within that time, I was allowed to grow, but I hadn't grown all the way. Instead of waiting one more year, 4 years is the number, right? I went into a relationship very fast, very quick, very sudden. I was called the unexpected for the person. So when we do that, we don't get time to build ourselves. Somebody else we're catering to, somebody else we're helping to grow, but we're putting ourselves on the side. So we either resent the person later, or we end up feeling devalued or not worthy by the person. So we have to remember that the importance of waiting for the Lord reaps rewards. That's amazing. So wait on that righteousness. Wait. There is someone for everyone. And, I always refer to the story of Jacob and Rachel and Leah. And Jacob was in love with Rachel, like in love with her and wanted to be with her. And Rachel's dad was like, well, you can't marry her because she's not the oldest child. You have to marry the oldest one first. So, he was tricked. He was tricked later on. But he said, okay, because the father said, the Rachel's father said, go marry Leah, be with her for 7 years, and I will release you. So Jacob was like, okay, I love Rachel. I'm going to wait for her. He waited for that person. And after the 7th year now, the Rachel's dad is like, wait a minute, I'm gonna sneak Leah in there with him and pretend that's Rachel, because the 7 years is over. He's gonna get Rachel. And he fooled, Jacob. So Jacob got up and he was like, wait a minute, who is this in my bed? This is not Rachel. He went to her dad and he was like, what did you do? And the dad was like, look, you wanted to have Rachel. I snuck in Leah. Now you're going to have to go another 7 years to wait for Rachel. So my point of that is we have to wait. We have to wait for that righteousness. We have to. It's like a must. And it's not a stinky must. It's a affirmative have to. So the word today, comforted, is I am grateful for the people who have understood how to comfort me when I was feeling down. This goes out to my dear friend who comforted me, my friend who allowed me to stay here in her beautiful home, and my friend who spoke to me and was that person that was with me as I went to rest and comforted me during my loss, knowing that the loss is there. However, I have gained a dear friend again. That may be somebody that is going to be in my future. So when one door closes, another opens. And when that other door opens, let me tell you, it's the floodgates are coming in. So my friend listened when I needed to talk and blessed me with their kindness. Often they didn't need to say a word or do anything more than be with me for a while. And that's what she did. She was with me for a while as I went to rest. Their understanding presence was what I really needed. So standing firm, okay, their standing firm presence in righteousness is what I really needed. That is the light that John 3:20-21 is talking about. So even when I'm without the comforting presence of another, like when I'm alone, I can find comfort in the divine presence within me. So as I open my heart to righteousness, to goodness and mercy, I feel understood, loved, and accepted completely. Oh my goodness. So when you open your heart, because our hearts can get broken, okay? And when we don't know the tools to use to heal our heart, it stays broken. People's heart can stay broken for years and years and years because they're living in that space of brokenness. So once you open your heart to righteousness, righteousness is going to put it in it back together. I'm telling you, I am an example of that. My heart was broken, like boom and then boom, and then in that brokenness, I erred on the side of righteousness, and my heart became and belonged to that goodness. It belonged to that righteousness and mercy, okay? And as I open my heart to that, I feel understood. I feel as I'm standing firm in that righteousness, right? Loved and accepted completely, just as I am, okay? Just as I am. I don't eat meat. I don't eat chicken. I don't eat certain foods. I went to pick up my belongings and they were frying, I think they were frying chicken, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad. I'm not living in a space with that. And it's okay if you do that. If you want to eat that, that's fine. That's you. Some people are, I said, they're still in a stage, where they find that comfortability. However, in order to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to allow things that you're used to fall away. So, yeah, I grew up eating meat. I grew up eating all the animals in the world. However, that was when I was a child. Now I'm a mature Black woman, Caribbean woman, mature in Christ and still becoming mature now. I don't want to say I'm perfect, still becoming mature. And I've learned that my health is part of wealth. People think money is wealth. Oh, yep, I won big. I won the big jackpot. Yes. But that is not going to keep me healthy. I'm going to use it to invest in my health, yes. But it's not the ultimate wealth. The ultimate wealth is happiness. Happiness. So, all you need is you. All you need is you. So, all you need is you. All you need is you. And once you find that, you're going to find what is above, because what made you wonderfully made is what is from above. Okay? What made you physically is below. It's, that birthing of that flesh, and that blood that is on the earth that's going to stay here. So you come in a mystical, breezy breath way, and that internal is what came from that goodness and came from that mercy that now embodies your physical being. And that physical being oftentimes leads instead of the other way around, where the mystical being, that righteous being, is the one that's leading the flesh. So when the flesh comes in contact with something that's appealing or tempting, ooh, she's men look at women. There's a study that was done, and they found that men look at women's breasts and the below before they look at their face. So it's interesting how we fall to this earth, and the deceiver, the great deceiver, gives us false narratives and false futures, thinking that materially and we are to accumulate and we are to keep hit. We're not going with anything. So in the word today, comforted, it's you notice it's the past tense. It's comforted. So you have already been comforted. You've already found that. So I need not feel self-conscious about needing comfort or how I express my feelings. Okay? I don't need to be self-conscious about that. Just be you. If people cannot accept you for you, then that means they're not for you, and that you love them from a distance. I'm very different, and it takes a special person to be with me because I am different. And you have to be a secure person. You have to love yourself to be with me. You have to, because remember, I said this, what is in front of you is temporary. What you cannot see is eternal. And that eternal is that inner being inside of you. So the ancestors that have passed on, their physical bodies stayed on the earth, but their beings are not gone, okay? Not gone. So as I speak right now, I'm feeling the ancestors listening to me. I'm feeling them and I honor them. I say thank you to the Most High for my ancestors, for my dad. I spoke to my dad on my birthday. I spoke to him. I'm calling all of them. I'm calling Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. I'm calling them. I could feel them. Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman. I surrender. I surrender to the greatness of goodness and mercy, long suffering, endurance and forgiveness. Oh my goodness. When you feel them, you feel them. They just they mist through your being. Oh my goodness, I have to get through the word of the day. As my trust in the divine presence grows, that's what I just said. As it grows, my sadness diminishes. As my trust in the divine presence grows, my sadness diminishes. Healing flows through my entire being as I am comforted. As I am comforted. Selah and Selah again. The word today, comfort, is brought to you today by Isaiah 66, verse 13. And Isaiah 66, verse 13 speaks about, as a mother comforts her child, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted in righteousness. Thank you. I'm giving thanks for those words. Oh my goodness. And I'm not weeping for sadness. I was weeping for this immense joy of the ancestors' knowledge as living in a different way. We are living in a physical way. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, okay? Or we are human beings having a spiritual experience. What do you want to be? Okay? So when I look at the word today, comforted, and I look at the verse today, beautiful, absolutely. And then the Psalm today, 31, really brings everything home. From the verse today from John 3:20 to 21, the word today, comforted and being brought to you by Isaiah 66:13. The Psalm today, 31, into the hands of righteousness I commit. I make a commitment. Okay? People make commitments to people. They make vows to people. However, it's oftentimes we don't make that commitment to that righteousness and goodness and mercy. So let's look at the Psalm today. In you, O Lord, do I take safety, And who is the Lord? The Lord is righteousness and mercy and goodness and all of what I've been talking about on this channel. Let me never be put to shame. In righteousness deliver I, and I, all of you out there. In your righteousness you will be delivered. So when John talks about being in the light, this is what we're talking about. Incline an ear to I, and I, all of you. Rescue I and I speedily. And this is what happened. Yesterday, I couldn't believe all that stuff fit in my friend's car, and we speedily was out. So, rescue I and I speedily. Be a rock of safety for I and I, a strong fortress to save I and I. For righteousness is a rock and a fortress, and for righteousness' name's sake, I and I are led and guided, and taken out of the net that have been hidden. For righteousness is a safety. Into righteousness' hands I commit my righteousness. I and I have been redeemed through righteousness, that faithful God. I do not love those who pay regard to worthless idols. I trust in righteousness. That's not something that you can physically, touch. It is a action. It's a being. It's a, how do I frame that? It is not a statue, in other words. So when we talk about Moses coming from the mountain with the commandments, he didn't know why he was writing those, why that was sent to him, until he came down from the mountain and saw why he was up there doing that. So when God is preparing you, it's going to be hard. You're going to be uncomfortable because you're being prepared for something that you're going to be doing. Okay? And don't let life's circumstances dictate you. There's another perspective. Put life circumstances in perspective. Put it in perspective. So I trust in that righteousness. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in the steadfast love of righteousness, because righteousness has seen my affliction, have seen my hurt, have seen me cry, and have known the distress of I and I life, and have not delivered I and I into the hand of that enemy, that wrong person. I have not been delivered into the hand of an abuser who's physically abusing me, emotionally abusing me, socially abusing me, and isolating me from people, or intellectually abusing me and telling me I'm not good enough. Right? I've been delivered from that. That is the enemy. I've been delivered from the hand of the enemy, and I'm so thankful, because my dad said that. He said, you're free. Righteousness has set my feet in a broad place. In a broad place. As I travel the many roads and the hills and valleys of this life, I have been delivered. Cheers to that. Water. Water. I love the living water. Be gracious to me. And instead of speaking it that way, I'm going to say, give thanks for being gracious to me. For I was in distress. My eye was wasted from grief, my life and my physical being also. For I my life was spent with sorrow, and my years with sighing. My strength fails, my strength failed because of my own shortcomings, and my bones waste away. Because of all the enemies. The enemies are, the number one enemy is yourself, telling yourself you're not good enough. Okay? That's your number one enemy. That's why that righteousness within needs to be nourished and filled to conquer that enemy, because the Most High is the overcomer, right? Of the tribe of Judah, Elect of Jaself and earth's rightful ruler, right? Righteousness is going to cover the earth as the water cover the sea. So that's why I speak that righteousness is earth's rightful ruler. So because of the enemies, because of people who on the outside lie to you, are dishonest, they cheat on you, they leave you for someone else and not tell you anything. All these things of wrongness, because of that, I have become a reproach. I've become a reproach, okay? An object of dread. Like, they don't want to see me. When they see me, they in the street, they run from me. They don't want to, and this is what John says. People who did you wrong cannot be and see you because of the fact that you are light. You are a light. And everyone that does wrong doesn't love the light. They will not come into the light. They will not come into your space. So in verse 11, Psalm 31, because of all my adversaries, I have become a reproach, especially to my neighbors, and an object of dread to my acquaintances. Ones that see me in the street flee from me. I have been forgotten like one who is dead. That's why I thank my friend who is allowing me to stay here, picking me up an hour and 20 minutes away from her. She had to drive to pick me up, right? And the person that I was with couldn't even come to pick me or come and help me. So Psalm 31, verse 11, 12, and 13 is exactly what is happening, what I'm talking about. I have been forgotten like one who is dead. You know, you forget the dead. I have become as a broken vessel, for I hear the whispering of many, terror on every side, as they scheme together against me, as they plot to take my life. However, I trust in righteousness. I speak. Righteousness is my God. That is my bedmate. I am committed to righteousness. Into the hands of righteousness, I make my commitment. That's what the Psalm 31 is. I make that commitment to righteousness. So even though I'm alone, sleeping right now, everything changes. Things don't stay the same. One day you're alone in the bed, the next minute someone's in there with you. So I speak that righteousness is my God, and my times are in the hands of righteousness, and I will be rescued from the hand of my enemies and from my persecutors. Righteousness's face will shine on the servants of righteousness, those who serve righteousness. That righteousness's face is going to shine on them, and they will be saved in the steadfast love. So, O righteousness, let I not be put to shame, for I call upon righteousness. Let the wicked be put to shame. They will be put to shame. Let them go silently to Sheol. Let the lying lips be mute. that speak insolently against the righteous in pride and contempt. Oh, how abundant is your goodness, for that you have stored up for those that fear you. Okay? And we see in John 3:20-21, wrongness is not going to come into the light because they fear that their works will be exposed. But when we talk about fearing righteousness, we don't fear the truth. We embrace the truth. Righteous people are not afraid to stand up for themselves or for the truth, right? So there's that goodness in abundance, because it says, how abundant is your goodness that have been stored up for those that fear you. You is goodness, you is righteousness, right? And work for those who take safety in you. So in the sight of the children of mankind, people are going to see it. Okay, people are going to see your abundance of goodness because you are living to be an example of what God is. So God is going to use you. He's going to keep you safe because he's using you as an example to other people. Look at my daughter. Look how I have blessed her with health and happiness and an abundance of goodness because she has held her steadfast love for righteousness. So, in the cover of the presence of righteousness, we are hidden from the plots of folks. And we are stored in the shelter from the strife of people's tongues, yelling at us or cursing us on voicemails, leaving, nefarious messages. So we're going to be sheltered from that. Okay? The same person who called and left a voicemail, like, you look at my channel, you hear it, called again with kindness, wished me happy birthday, and I just a whole 360. So I am being sheltered from the strife of tongues. From the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Most High righteousness, for righteousness has wondrously shown steadfast love to I when I was in a besieged place. As I was, I had spoken in my alarm. Oh my goodness, I'm cut off from the sight of righteousness. However, when you're alarmed, you say things. You're like, oh my goodness, where is God? God help me. You get that way. However, I heard the voice of righteousness, and righteousness heard the voice of I please for mercy when I cried to righteousness for strength, and was sent my friend, a kind woman, a widow, was sent to help me. And that is who's going to get the bless. So love the Lord, love righteousness, all you sons and daughters of the Most High. Righteousness preserves the faithful, okay, and abundantly repays the one who acts in pride. And when it talks about abundant payback for those who have so much, they're filled with so much pride, they can't come and apologize, they can't come and talk to you, they can't come and have closure with you because they're filled with an abundance of pride. They're going to be repaid abundantly. So what do? Be strong and let your heart take courage. All who wait for the Lord, for righteousness, for mercy, compassion, forgiveness, long suffering, grace, all of the attributes that is of God. You wait for that, and you will receive in abundance the goodness of the Lord. Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm today. Selah and Selah again. As we outro, I want everyone to have a blessed day. I am heading to Sunday service. I'm so excited to go into the house of righteousness and listen to the music and melody and the harmonic pattern that is so ingrained inside of my being that when it hits me, I don't feel no pain. Thank you, Bob Marley. He said that when music hits, you don't feel no pain, right? It takes away the pain. That's why people go to church. They get revived so they can keep forwarding through their days ahead. And you have to find that space. Maybe that church is within you yourself, and you do your harmonic pattern. So Max Lucado for the 29th, a difference between faith and presumption. So that's brought to you by Psalm 442 verse 8. The Lord shows true love every day. At night I have a song, and I pray to my living God. Selah. Psalm 42 verse 8. Max Lucado comments, I believe there's great power in prayer. I believe God heals the wounded and that God can raise the dead. But I don't believe we tell God what to do and when to do it. You see, there's a difference between faith and presumption. There's a difference between believing He's the Almighty God and demanding He become our divine servant. Okay? So what is Max Lucado trying to speak here? That righteousness shows true love every day. So you may not get true love from a person, but you're getting it from yourself. That's inside you. That's that righteousness. At night, you have a song, and you commune with the living God. Jehovah Jireh, Selassie the First, Rastafari, however you see that one to be. We have lots of differences, but we have to remember our commonality, that we share something in common. Thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Remember, stand in love, don't fall in love. September 29th, we have the consolation. Let us pray not for lighter burdens, but for stronger backs. So cleansing from sin, the shepherd struck, the sheep was scattered, the Lord comes and reigns. Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you for joining Chant A Psalm A.